Hi, I'm Mary Blue. This episode is all about a classic artist device, a still life in front of a window. I'm filming at the Bank Arts Center in the historic town of Eye in Suffolk. Let's consider Henri Matisse. In my mind, he is the world's best colorist. He teaches us not to be afraid of color, but to use paint to share ideas about what is most important. I'd like to encourage you to learn a bit more about Matisse by clicking on the link below. I want you to set up a still life in your windowsill with flowers you picked from your garden or purchased at the store. We will do a long, sustained painting focusing on color and composition and light. We're focusing on mixing paint. There's lots to learn, and I will try to talk you through it. I first started painting still life florals in front of a window back in the 1980s when I lived in Philadelphia. So let's set up our still life and create a few practice sketches on paper. For this exercise, we're working with acrylic paint. Practice with a selection of colors. The idea is to respond to light coming in through the window and notice how it affects color. It gets lighter or darker depending upon what surrounds it. The purpose of art is not to produce a product, it is to produce a thought or a thought-provoking idea. This video will allow you to improve your technical capabilities and help you find your voice. We begin by setting up your palette. I like to use a variety of colors and not limit your color choices. Use colors that you resonate with. Remember, the process of introspection is what gives art its magic. Set up a large piece of heavy paper. This is Fabriano, and I liked to paint directly onto the paper. But if you so choose, you can apply a layer or two of gesso to the surface. This video focuses on painting light streaming in from a windowsill. It is a challenging subject and one that has fascinated artists for centuries. The light streaming in polarizes what you are looking at, and it diffuses what is in the background. It casts a directional shadow that tells you where the light source is coming from. Light is consistent. Try to capture the direction of the light. Begin this exercise by making little sketches to develop your composition. You can use either the golden ratio or a radial composition. Have a play around arranging what you're going to paint on the windowsill. I chose a radial composition, so I placed my vase and the flowers in the center. Again, visualize the entire painting before you begin, and think about where you will place everything. Then pick up a thin round brush, begin with a burnt umber or yellow ochre wash, water down your paint, and sketch in the entire composition first. If the drawing is wrong, then the painting will never work. Don't be afraid to revise your drawing. Loosely fill in the background with big brushwork. Fill in the shapes of the windowsill and the vase, then layering colors and the leaves and the flowers. When working in acrylic paint, it will dry quickly, and it will enable you to layer over lighter or darker colors depending upon the color relationships that you are establishing. Here I'm sketching in the vase, putting in the light marks of the reflection on the edge. Lightly working in the horizon line, just establishing relationships. It's all about looking and responding to what you're looking at. Try to simplify your shapes. Then working with a big brush, start mixing in your color. You're going to work loosely from the background, mixing in a warm gray. Mix the paint freely. Do not be afraid to mix colors. Try using a bigger brush than you think. We're going to be layering in colors on top. So just allow for big, gestural, juicy brush strokes to fill in all of the areas. At the very end, you can go back in and put in your details. And this is the area of focus that will tell your viewer what you are looking at. And this is the power of the artist. Matisse helped us focus our view on the vase and flowers and looking out the windowsill. But it is so much more than that. He helps us to be more complete. There's a resolution of sorts in Matisse's work. He tells us that all will be well. When I'm working, I think of the overall composition. I'm moving my brush fast and loose around the edge of the paper. I'm not worrying about details. I'm trying to establish a color relationship. I'm establishing values. I am thinking about resolution. I'm thinking about, how Matisse paints. He works the overall background to foreground, plays around with color. Here I'm establishing the Gothic arches in the window that I'm seeing through the window, another play. I'm working quickly, but you can take your time. You can develop this painting over days if you want to. I'm just giving you a quick example of how to build up your shapes, how to make relationships of color, how to build layers. Once I have my background loosely painted in, then I will begin filling in the windowsill and the vase, and then the flowers will be the last bit of this painting that I work towards. I'm choosing a warm burnt sienna, a little bit of cadmium, pulled in a bit of my warm gray. Switching brushes. Again, easy, quick, gestural, filling in a large space with a large brush, just playing around with it. Remember, because it's acrylic, you can always go over it, adding detail at the end. Right now, I'm just trying to establish color relationships and block in the shapes of the objects. Seeing a bit of reflection on the windowsill, so I'm putting that in. Taking a smaller brush, adding in the dark where the edge of the sill has a polarized black because it's backlit. So these are the things you're going to notice: where the light is coming from, where's your darkest darks, where's your lights. Those are the things that you've learned in the charcoal and ink sketch that you will apply into a color painting. So use that same idea of your darks and your lights. That's something that's consistent in painting, it's consistent in drawing. Beginning to mix different colors of leaves. I'm going to loosely block in the shapes of the leaves. I'm going to loosely block in the shape of the vase. I keep looking at my subject matter. Remember with your palette to give yourself a lot of room to mix your colors on. I roll my brush. I fill it up with a lot of juicy paint. Don't be afraid of paint. You're doing a painting after all. Blocking in the light side of the vase. Quickly putting in the shape, having fun with it. Take the same color, adding a dark Prussian blue. Adding a little burnt umber. Looking for the edge of the vase as it intersects where the flowers are overhanging. Then I've established my shapes. I've established a light and a dark. Quickly filling in the highlight of the windowsill where the light is catching the frame. Again, adding some more reflective light on the windowsill. The last thing I'm going to work on are the radial composition of the dahlias in the vase. I'm going to allow for playful splattering The music will fade up, and sit back and relax and watch me finish painting the dahlias. I chose Matisse to help us explore color. Next time you visit a museum or gallery, see if you notice a floral painting in front of a windowsill hanging on the walls. They tell a story of light emerging from darkness. They remind us to look for beauty. They remind us to see everyday objects that we often overlooked. Thanks for watching. Let's be our best creative self. See you next time.